Welcome back to HCW's Bumping Chops, where the chops hurt and the words mean nothing. I'm your host, Billy Simmons, and this is my good friend, Bobby Casey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 12 of Bumping Chops. Bumping Chops is proudly presented to you by the Chubby Buddy Studio. And be sure to hit that subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment as we're talking. And you can also follow the Chubby Buddy Studio on all social media platforms. That's at Chubby Buddy Studio. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And for more HCW content, follow us at HCW Live. That's HCW Live 23 on all social platforms.
And today we have a episode that we've got a big show coming up, and that's the Red Kettle Rumble that will be taking place the Sunday or Saturday before this goes live. So we won't be talking much about that, just to get things out of the way.
Correct.
But we will have another episode right after this that we're going to recap. So what is coming up before this is that we have a special guest. We're going to hit you with some wrestling history that happened today. I don't even know how many years ago. Actually, the year that you started wrestling, I do believe.
Oh, 2001.
Exactly, 2001. December 9th of 2001. So
I'd been in for a few months.
So maybe you remember this. I remember it because of that big-ass big screen TV. So I think it'll be fun. That big-ass big screen TV that you had in your living room. So we're not only going to have that, but we have to have a guest on here to help us out, kind of talk about like what happened at our previous shows. And he's also going to kind of give you guys some feedback about how we got started in wrestling. So why don't we introduce our guest?
Man, let's kick that off.
Today's guest is a man that has no nickname. So we're going to try to figure one out for him. That's another thing we're going to try to do today. We're going to figure out a nickname for this man.
Does he need one?
He doesn't need one, but it's always cool. I'm just saying. But today, the man from the sunny beaches of Kansas. Give it up for Mr. Chance Carigan.
Ooh. Look at him rolling in. Just rolling in.
Ooh, let me get my camera right. How you guys doing? How are you doing today?
Chance Carigan. What's going on, man?
Oh, it is cold outside, but I'll tell you what. It's hot in the KWA and the HCW locker room right now.
Hey, why don't you get a better shirt next time you come on my podcast?
Well, just like yours truly, champions, champions.
Okay, I got you.
For a long time, as a matter of fact, champions for a while.
Well said. Well said.
Chance freaking Carigan.
Good to see you guys.
We really should have done this as a dual one with him and old Mindy Grace. Like, that'd have been fun too. But I think your internet would have probably lagged a little bit more.
Nah, they're their own individuals. You can't just team them up every time.
We should have had her on here just to introduce them. That'd have been cool. And then she could have left.
She's not even in the apartment right now. I think she's out getting she's getting her nails, her toes, and doing a little Christmas shopping. So
awesome.
Well, how's it feel to be on Bumpin' Chops, man? You digging it each episode?
It feels good to be. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't ever been on Bumpin' Chops. I've been on, what was it, Chubby Buddies? I've been on.
Yeah, you're on the Chubby Buddies.
I've been.
You were actually, that was our first. It was right before your first title match.
Oh yeah,
against Tanga and Dan for that strap match.
Ugh,
I do believe, wasn't it?
That was brutal.
Was it before the strap match?
No, I think this might have been back when XWE was still kind of.
No, we never had wrestlers on during XWE.
Okay.
We just promoted XWE though.
Okay, it must have been quite a while. I mean,
it was one of those matches you had with Dan. We're for sure about that.
Yeah. I don't think it was. It might have. I don't remember if it was a title match or it was our one-on-one before.
It wasn't a title match. You're right, because it was right after he disrespected that hair of yours.
That's true. Yeah, it was when we had that one-on-one, and then we had triple threat where he won the title, and then I took the title off. Not too long after.
Yeah.
So I did see that you watched Ray's episode. How'd you feel about that one?
It was good. Ray definitely can talk with the best of them. I'll tell you that much. No, Ray's awesome. Obviously, we're connected at the hip half the time. He's no bones about it. We don't try to hide it. We're best friends. the man's going to be my best man in my wedding coming up here in next September. So, I mean, anything he has to say, usually I'm listening, even if it's completely ridiculous and out of left.
Isn't that even 90% of the time?
I mean, he I'm sure I open my phone right now, I'll see a message from him, with some ridiculous idea or, meme that he sent me.
So what's this? I hear that you were like inducted into the Brotherhood or something that he was bringing up.
No, we don't have to. This is public airways. We ain't got to talk. This is more for the friends. You know what I mean? I got to keep it low key. If I
get it.
If I put all my business out in public, I won't be in the Brotherhood anymore. So, I got to keep it low key.
We get it. We get it. Wait, let's start this off with some Today in Wrestling history, all right? Like I said, it happened December 9th, 2001. And I do remember this. Like I said, Billy's parents used to have this big-ass big screen TV that you had to pull out these. It was like almost like a traffic light on the inside, and it refracted off of the lights into a mirror onto the screen. That's how old this thing was.
It was cool.
So December 9th, 2001, WWE Vengeance took place. This was the night the WWE merged their world title with the WCW World Heavyweight Championship by means of a mini tournament. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated Kurt Angle to retain the WWF Championship, and Chris Jericho then defeated The Rock for the WCW title. In the main event, Jericho bested Austin to take both belts, and he was declared the undisputed champion.
I remember that.
I remember that just because we watched it with Josh. And
I couldn't believe that Jericho was the first, honestly, when it happened.
Like, you couldn't as the undisputed champion? Yeah. You thought that they were going to give it to a bigger name, probably. Mm-hmm. Like Austin or even The Rock. Because that was during
Especially since Jericho had come over from WCW and, the others were mainstays in the WWE.
Chance, do you remember that match?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I didn't watch it live. I was really young back then, but it's funny that that's what you brought up because that's like one of my earlier wrestling childhood memories of watching like wrestling, having to watch it on delay or watching it back on YouTube, the highlights on YouTube the next day. That was like one of the first ones I would always go back and watch over and over and over again because Jericho was my dad's favorite and then he became one of my favorites. So when I found out he was like the first ever undisputed champion, I had to go see how that was done. And I was like, God, that was crazy. Let's watch it again.
And if I remember right, The Undertaker wrestled that night against Rob Van Dam, I'm pretty sure, for the
Hardcore.
It was a weird title.
ECW title?
No, it wasn't ECW title. It was shit. We'll have to look this up. Nope. It was a weird name. It was like the I don't know, the Rough title or something like that. It was kind of weird. It wasn't the Rough, but it was like a weird name. It wasn't like the heavyweight title. It wasn't the Intercontinental Championship or anything like that. It was like a specific name title, kind of like how you have the Out of Luck title. It was kind of like that.
So are you talking about the 24/7 title?
No, not the 24/7 title. Maybe Daniel can look it up.
Knows?
We have our a little mini producer over here on his phone listening in, so maybe he can look it up and he'll be able to tell us.
He sucks.
But no, like, huh?
He sucks.
Thanks.
Yeah. We just won't name names. But no, we usually start that out, kind of spark up some memory for Billy and for you, and for our guests, but like mainly for Billy, just because I think that like watching you talk about wrestling like back in 2001, because I didn't know anything about wrestling obviously back then. It was until I came out and hanging out with you, Josh, Jordan, and looking at all of the stuff that's happened over wrestling. Like we always try to imitate that in the backyard. It was always fun.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. We built that ring out of plywood and car tires, and my parents were not happy when they came home and there was a full-size wrestling ring in their backyard.
At one time, I think you put carpet in it too, didn't you?
Yeah, so we had framed it like a floor, and put it over car tires, and then cemented the post into the ground, and used a parachute string for the ropes.
Oh, paracord.
Yeah, paracord
Okay.
for the ropes.
That's right.
And carpet was our mat. Yeah, it was carpet burns and craziness for a long time.
I'm sure the
Oh, the match was the hardcore match for the WWF Championship. Oh, hardcore championship.
hardcore championship. Okay.
So not necessarily a weird name, just not one that like not everybody remembers probably.
Yeah, the hardcore title was defended 24/7 for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It had
So
occasional,
it was a 24/7.
yeah, occasional matches here and there, but yeah.
I just remember that Undertaker match being it might have been the co-main event, I do believe.
Maybe.
I mean, it was probably a banger. It was the RVD and Undertaker. I mean,
Right?
you can't really go too wrong with that.
Always never. And like he said before, like the Undertaker didn't hold many titles.
No.
Didn't need to.
So
Correct.
but no, is there anything you're excited about in wrestling coming up? Like this is the time where we kind of just bump our chops about like what's coming up in wrestling, and then we'll get into the more of the HCW stuff later on.
Well, you know what season it is. You know, Survivor Series is over, so it's the build to the Royal Rumble. Probably, in my opinion, maybe the best pay-per-view. Don't come at me. Out of the big four, maybe out of all of them. The Rumble
I really
match,
enjoyed that also.
Yeah, the Rumble match is just like something that's like, you know, you're going to get returns. You know, you're going to get maybe some burns, period. You might get, you know, just some crazy stuff happening. You're going to get good title matches, and you're going to get, you know, your first foot started up on the road to WrestleMania. So, I mean, this season right now is probably going to be the hottest. And then January 6th, I'm actually very excited for, because that is Raw's first day on Netflix. And I think they're waiting. I know some people are kind of like iffy on the streaming and everything like that, but I think honestly anything's better than Peacock at this moment. And I kind of think that they've been saving a lot of stuff for like their Netflix debut, like a lot of returns, stuff you would expect more like in a pay-per-view. I think they're gonna do on January, like where's Charlotte, where's Becky, where's you know, this guy, where's that guy,
Alexa Bliss,
all like we got so many like things kind of on the back burner right now that they can either come out with during the Royal Rumble or January 6th, I think.
Now, is the girls' Royal Rumble the same day as the men's Royal Rumble, or is it just like, because I know they have a separate females one, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It either usually one of them kicks off, and then they have a couple matches in between, and then that's main event. Either they save the men's or the women's for the main event, or the or like just before the main event.
And also this Monday, when this actually debuts, it's going to be Wichita's going to be hosting WWE Raw, right? Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
We'll be at that.
So it's going to be pretty.
I will be too. My buddy's birthday was Wednesday, and his wife bought him tickets and asked me if I wanted to go with him. So me and him are going to go down and go watch some Raw together. It'll be a good time.
And Stormy, did she ever get hold of that guy? Like, is she going to?
Yeah, Stormy will be backstage.
Oh, man.
She is a lot, though.
I mean, hey, bumping elbows, rubbing elbows, bumping chops. You know?
Listen, yep. Anytime you get an opportunity to talk to the big leagues, is more opportunity to be in front of them, have your name known.
Well, outside of that, how was your Thanksgiving, man?
Thanksgiving was good. It felt extended almost, because I got such a big family. So my side of the family kind of does things a couple days or a week before, and then I go spend time with Grace's kind of smaller, more tight-knit family on the day of. So kind of just makes the whole holiday feel a little bit longer, which I don't mind. I like Thanksgiving. I like spending time just catching up with everybody, you know, eating, of course. There's that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite out of? So if you picked one Thanksgiving food, what would be your go-to?
Turkey.
Yeah.
If I'm not counting turkey, I would say One of the sides gotta be the mashed potatoes, man. I gotta have mashed potatoes.
I agree. 100% agree.
Like usually if I got mashed potatoes, noodles, and turkey, I'm all set for Thanksgiving. I could eat a couple plates of that.
And you smoked a lot of meats, didn't you? Like you smoked 3 different meats?
Yeah, so we did a turkey that turned out really well. We did a ham that turned out really well. It was a little sweet because I did a brown sugar pineapple juice that I injected and then kind of basted throughout the smoking process. And then we did a brisket, and it was my first time doing a brisket, so it was a little dry. So I'm still working on that.
It's just a lot of work, man. Those briskets take 14, 15 hours, whatever it is.
It was a smaller brisket.
Okay.
Well, I did something completely different. I've not ever been one for like turkey myself. Like it's always been it's the most boring like bird or meat on the planet, I think.
You haven't had a good turkey then.
Dude, I changed my mind. Like the second you fry a turkey, it changes the whole game of Thanksgiving. I fried a turkey this year and oh my Jesus.
Interesting.
Pretty good.
Never in my life. Oh, I can't even compare it. It's like driving like a convertible, like a hot rod over like a Volkswagen Bug. Like it's apples and oranges. You can't compare the two.
I mean, why can't you compare apples and oranges?
Because I think oranges are better than apples, but they're totally two different things.
Them right now.
But they're two different.
You're comparing them.
They're two different things, though.
But you're still comparing them.
They're two different things, though. Yeah, I'll compare. Like you can't say anybody who says that they'd rather have a baked turkey is probably from Russia. That's all I'm saying.
Damn.
Or they just don't want to do work. I mean,
that is the downfall, right? So like a fried turkey tastes 100 times better, but like the cleanup afterwards is a little bit tedious.
If you don't do it, yeah. If you make a big old mess and you start a fire, and
and I didn't, and that's the only thing I was worried about was like filling the oil or whatever, overflowing. It didn't have that problem, but I soaked the turkey overnight for like 18-20 hours between that. That made all the difference.
They say if you want to make sure to avoid overflowing that oil, you just do a water test in it, and you just fill it up with water, and then put turkey in, and then you see if it overflows. You just put less oil than you would have than you did in that water. You know, nice. Not that I cook the turkey. I just cook all the side stuff. Try to cook some of the side dishes. So
yeah, I've never left a Thanksgiving to where turkey was gone. I had no leftover turkey.
Nice.
And it was a 20-pound turkey. So that's how much
good.
That's how healthy. Much better the fried turkey is.
Nice.
So why don't we get into some like not necessarily hot seat questions. It's more for like you guys to kind of talk about like your wrestling journeys and stuff like that, things you've done in your careers. And I know how many years you've been wrestling, Chance?
I think I'm going into year 4 or somewhere around that mark. I think I've been training for 3 at least, and then going into year 4, I believe. But
well, I'll ask you first. Like, if anybody that has never heard from you or seen you on a podcast, you've been on. You were just on Team Sam Names podcast. You and Mindy both, and then you were on. Weren't you on the I-70 a couple times, or at least once?
I was on once, I believe.
So, if somebody was to come on here first time, like, how would you kind of describe your journey into wrestling, like for somebody who's first time hearing it?
Oh, so I started early age. I remember coming across the TV and seeing Rock and Stone Cold talking about something. I couldn't tell you what they were fighting about, but I just remember it was one of the coolest things I'd seen, and my dad was really interested. So I remember telling him to wake me up when they were back on TV, and he woke me up, and I was hooked ever since. You know, watched it ever since I was a kid. Growing up, I had 4 brothers and 4 sisters, so I was lucky enough to have plenty of training dummies sometimes to throw around. You know, you see the big old "do not try this at home" warning beforehand, and I'm just like, what? I'm safe. Yeah, don't try it at home for like normal kids. I'm not a normal kid. But yeah, just doing it. Kind of fell out of it. I'm watching it after high school. just with everything going on, school, life, just hitting you at 1,000 miles an hour, girls, all that fun stuff. But after a couple of years in college, after I dropped out of K-State, I kind of got right back into it and just didn't know how to ever get into it. Thought when I moved down to Fort Worth and started teaching gymnastics, thought I would go to school there maybe, but then I looked at the prices and I saw, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 for like these training sessions. And I'm just like, yeah, it's probably never going to happen. So just kind of didn't even think it was going to be a possibility ever. So just thought about furthering my career in gymnastics and maybe figuring out something else to do. It wasn't until I had been living back in Kansas for a few years and living with my lovely now fiance, Mindy Grace. I call her Grace, but everybody else knows her as Mindy Grace. So, I was just sitting there during the COVID pandemic, and after the second time I got COVID, I just thought, if I'm not going to try now, when am I going to try? Am I going to wait till I'm 35, 40 to try to chase my dreams, and then realize I should have, tried when I was 20, 25, so I've already waited long enough. So Grace helped me look around, make sure, we contacted some legit places. I had looked at the XWE Facebook page and wasn't too sure. I wasn't positive, but I had seen some stuff online and decided to just give it a shot. Contacted, I believe, the XWE page directly, and they directed me to one Billy Simmons, who I messaged. I still have the messages to this day. I think it was back.
Nice.
I messaged him in July or June, towards the end of June in 2021, I believe. And told him what my deal was, just to kind of to see if he would respond. And he responded almost the next day and let me know what the deal was, what they do, how they run it, and I could come out whenever and start. So started in August, met Sir Billy Simmons in August, met Ray Leon, Tommy Toogood, Valencia Brusator, and a couple others that we graduated with, and the rest is history so far. So I couldn't be more thankful for the way I've fallen into things, for the way my life has gone to lead me into not just this company, but professional wrestling, period. And hopefully people stay with me on the journey going forward and stick with me and can follow the story with me from now on.
Awesome. Man, so like you graduated with everybody that's in like head honchos at HCW, huh?
Well, if you look right now, his class is almost exclusively all champions right now. Jeez. So Ray Leon is the HCW champion. Chance has been the Independence champion for how long? You been champion now?
If we have that
6 months.
You can sort of see it over
I
here.
believe.
Nice.
And
then
April, May, October, November, December. 8 months. 8 months.
8 months. And then Tommy just picked up the tag titles with his partner Austin Reddick. So yep. Them kids. I remember I used to I live out in the country. We train in my barn. It's nothing fancy. It's
the Bears
old
Den.
School. It's right, the Bears Den. And we're out in the country, but I do have neighbors that have some small kids, and usually by 9 o'clock I want to be wrapped up. And it was every training session I would be like, guys, we have to end because there's kids that got to go to school the next day. Getting them out of that training facility was like pulling teeth. We
were just
hard.
out there banging, yelling, screaming, hitting the mat. It's just like, guys, it's by the way, it's 9:30. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta finish this up.
Yeah, we got an hour drive back home, and we got work in the morning too. So. But
Chance said,
times.
"Oh,
sorry,
yeah, for sure.
Oh no, you're fine. This is for you, not for us. Like we just have fun with it. But like you had said earlier that like you reached out to XWE directly, and like like, I guess this will be kind of like your hot seat question. Like, when do you feel like somebody such as Chance or Ray or even Tommy, like, when do you say, hey, I'm going to give this guy this shot? Like when do you point out, like, in your mind, or whether it be like maybe on a piece of paper, like, hey, I want to introduce the world to Tommy this way or Chance this way?
I'm pretty strict on how, when I let my guys out, like, they've got to meet certain criteria to make me want to let them start wrestling and traveling by themselves. And so and everyone's usually unique on when they can go out. Chance and Ray were pretty quick. I think actually Chance got his first match versus Gideon Vane just out of, hey, we need an extra body, and I said, I think my kid can handle it. Throw him, get him some trunks.
This is the birth of Johnny Hutch Jr. right there.
Johnny Hutch Jr.
Or the birth and the death of Johnny Hutch Jr. right there.
Facts.
So you really have to feel comfortable putting them in a ring, whether that be with somebody like Drake or like somebody who, like, you trust them with somebody that's got some weight under their belt, like whether it be like with a new guy or somebody who maybe you don't know, like maybe needs to work on something in particular, like whether that be like high flying stuff or anything like that. Like, you really sit down and think about that before you put them in.
It's more about, do they understand? Do they get it? Can they bump well? I hate shitty bumps. And I want people to be able to protect each other. And depending on who I'm able to put them in, Chance got in with Gideon Vane, who is an excellent worker, and I feel took care of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I trusted him, Gideon, to take care of my youngster, and he did. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
So, Chance, like, looking back at XWE, I didn't have this one planned. So looking back at XWE versus HCW, like, what do you see being the biggest difference for you as an independent wrestler, like, looking to go out and venture higher up? Like, what do you see? Like, do you think HCW is the best route, or like, did you feel that comfortability at XWE with the management there too? I know Billy was a part of it, but like, did you feel like everybody had your back?
So I'm not gonna sit here and give XWE some free publicity at the moment. I was told, if you don't have great things to say, just don't say them. So what I've noticed, so I'll just say the good things, all the great things I've noticed at HCW. All the great things I've noticed at HCW is Billy runs a tight ship. First off, you need to be there to tear down and set up, especially if you're one of his kids. He understands travel issues, outside real life, real life issues, all that stuff. But he runs a tight ship, and he has taught his kids to also run a tight ship. So that kind of has trickled down to where we get this tear down set up down to a T. We know how to do, how to shake hands, how to treat people that have never been to one of our places before, have been to one of our shows before. And then also the organization that has been shown, like, that's just part of the discipline. Then story reasons, for story reasons, I would say the consistency is there for the wrestling as well. We put on a great product every show. We our workers also flyer and advertise their asses off.
Very much so.
People want to work, really work for this company and work for their storylines, because Billy's open to listen and run people's storylines, not just throw 9 to 10 matches in there with 3-4 title defenses for no reason. I think that what the product that we're building here in the Midwest is second to none. And I think people need to start recognizing the value that we bring, not just to Wichita, but the state of Kansas.
And I wasn't trying to get you to say anything bad. I just haven't ever seen like the back. And I just never seen anything at XWE. That's why I asked. So that way I got kind of a feel about like what like it used to be like versus like what it is now.
So I'll answer that a little bit, because I ran XWE almost the same way as I run HCW, except for my hands were a little tied. Like, It's sometimes to a good point. Like we've been doing some number crunching and stuff here this last week, and there's some things I can get better at, but I can do things the way I want to, and my team around me helps me accomplish my goals, my outlooks, my stuff. And like Chance said, I will listen to anybody. Like, pitch me a storyline. I might take bits and pieces of it, or I might like the whole thing, or I might just go, it's okay, but I don't really like it. And it's just about, like, I can't do this, like I said with Ray, I can't do this by myself. Like, if I tried, we'd fail in a heartbeat. So I lean on my kids mostly, because they bust their ass for us, and that's what we do.
And I think there's something to be said about being comfortable enough and willing enough or knowledgeable enough to be able to just know that there's one voice that everybody can go and be comfortable enough to go tell something, to suggest something or pitch something, and that person just so happens to be the owner of the company.
Well, I guess to add on to that, like looking back at where your first match was at XWE, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, against Gideon Bain?
No, actually, his first match was PCW.
Yeah, PCW would be
okay. So PCW.
That was
okay.
Johnny Hutch Jr. Johnny Hutch Jr. didn't do too well that night. I would say my first official match, typically in my capacity, like one-on-one, where it wasn't just, Johnny Hutch jobber going out there, was me and Ray at Top of Texas in Amarillo.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, it wasn't really a good one, but it was a good one.
It was good for what it was. I mean, you go back and watch all your old ones and you cringe a little bit. So,
facts.
Okay, so like looking back at your first match, and then also with XWE going into HCW, has there been any either types of tips, maybe stories that has stuck with you, like something maybe Billy said, Ray said, or anything that somebody that's been in the game for like 10, 20 plus years that has stuck with you, and you kind of keep that close to heart?
I mean, if I left out a piece of advice, that would be, goodness. I mean, it's like in wrestling, it's like such a collection of advice that I have lost. Like, half the time I can't tell who told me what. Sometimes I'm like, he told me this, right? And he's like, no, that was, Ricky Morton, or that was Drake, or something like that. I think something that stuck with me, and I couldn't for the life of me remember who said it. It might have been on a documentary or something, but it was, I think it was Billy or Ray telling me to just kind of I was struggling with finding myself, my character, my comfortability in the ring. And I think they just told me to quit trying to find someone else to be, just try to be me a little bit more. Because they told me, they were like, you're entertaining enough as yourself, just be you more. So just remember to have fun, be a little more over the top, but just let your personality shine through. And ever since then, I've been really, really picking it up and not having problems getting crowds behind me.
Not at all.
And I've never seen another show that you've been a part of. So like, this is the only time that I've ever seen anybody out of all your wrestlers wrestle. So like, I can't speak to that, but I do know that Wichita loves you.
It's true.
Yeah, they're rolling for Chance Carigan for sure.
They are rolling with the Carigan.
Just rolling with the Carigan.
That's it. Yeah,
so, why don't you have a nickname? By the way, have you what did you say he was? What did you say your gimmick name used to be?
He used to run under the Spark.
The Spark.
Yeah.
But there's just very few.
It was okay, but he developed and got better, and
Spark.
There's a lot of stuff, and he don't need a nickname in my opinion. Like, Chance Carigan is Chance Carigan, and he rocks and rolls.
And that's been my thing with it too. That's why I was like, I kind of want to drop this little nickname that I'm trying to get going. I don't want to make it my whole identity. Plus, like, I don't need to live a air quotes, literally air quotes, around the nickname gimmick.
I guess undefeated is just perfect.
Yeah, undefeated's fine. Nowadays, whatever somebody wants to call me, smoking Chance Carigan, rolling Chance Carigan, whatever. But
where did that come from? Rolling with Chance Carigan. Is that just you coming out like that?
That's just me coming out like that, and people kind of following along and wanting to roll behind me. No double entendre whatsoever. But no, it just came from that and very famous Spider-Man meme that everybody loves to do. Tobey Maguire, look it up if you're, age appropriate enough. But no, it's not bad. Anybody's from Spider-Man 3. I promise it's not. It's age appropriate for everybody. But just don't be going out and doing it in public. But I was just always of the impression, I heard it one time, I don't remember where, but just say the name of yourself in your head and then whatever championship you want to win. So would I be comfortable with, the new, let's just say we're living in fantasy land, the new WWE champion, Chance the Spark Carigan? Do I want that, or do I prefer just like Chance Carigan? You know what I mean? Just strong, simple. If anybody wants to call me some nickname, they can, but I think it's strong, sweet, and I don't need to hide behind a moniker.
I was just curious.
No.
So Bobby, with saying that, you came up with some monikers that you wanted to shoot at him. Why don't you pitch that list
just for fun? It was just for fun. It was nothing that I wanted you to stick with.
Pitch him because I might.
Which one did you say was your favorite? I'll just give him I'll give you the top threes that we got voted on. Daniel, he liked the High Tide.
High Tide, bro.
Huh? What did he say?
I said high tide.
So that's a no. What did you like? Shoreline Sensation. That's what it was.
Yeah, the Shoreline Sensation.
Shoreline Sensation.
And then your brother liked Beachfront Breeze.
Beachfront Breeze.
Beachfront Breeze.
The Beachfront Breeze.
Beachfront property.
I actually kind of like the Kansas Coastline Kid.
Well,
I like Chance Carigan.
Kansas Kid. I just don't like the. Oh, okay. I see KCK. No, okay, never mind. KCK.
But no, that was just for fun. Me and his brother were recording an episode of Bumping Shops that now has to go on a take 3 because of the previous provider we were using. So yeah, you won't be able to hear that. So I figured but that was your favorite, right, Daniel? The High Tide or Mr. Good Vibes?
Mr. Good Vibes. Yeah. I don't like that at all. That sounds like a candy. That sounds like the Mr. Goodyear made a shake or something like that.
Hey. Yeah, but that was it. It was dumb, but we were having fun with it.
No, that's
because we were talking about your match coming up. I mean, you met Josh, right?
JD,
yeah. His brother. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. We're talking about you, and then I think we had because we were matching up Team Same Name with Tricky Dicky.
Oh gosh. Oh Dicky.
That'll be something.
So
he still owns 50% of the company.
He does, man. He does. That all because of your best friend.
Like I said, hey man, at the time, he wasn't anybody's friend apparently, and I still got a little something to say to Ray here, but I gotta find the right time to say it to him. Just make sure he knows, we're on the up and up, but at the same time, he was kind of a jerk for the last, 4 years before that, 3 years beforehand. So, I mean, it doesn't all just go away, but right now we're all right.
Well, that's a good way to segue into a little bit about your career in HCW so far. So right now you are undefeated in all of HCW. You're the only person, I believe, that has never been pinned or submitted in HCW.
Correct. So far, As far unless somebody there, and forgive us if we're forgetting anybody there in HCW or not, come face me in the ring one-on-one, and we'll see if you're still undefeated. But I believe currently I have not been pinned or submitted in one-on-one competition or tag team. Actually, yeah, in any one-on-one tag team, triple threat, multi-man match, I have not been pinned or submitted. No.
Awesome. So, how does that feel? Do you feel like you got a target on your back?
When I first won that title, I felt like I had a target on my back. And then after a couple of weeks, I kind of flipped the script and I started that open challenge, and I started putting, the onus on the people in the locker room instead of putting sitting there like a little, cowering in the corner and having a target painted on my chest. I'm going to stand out there in the ring and tell you to come get me. Now that'll segue into what happened this last week. When we start talking about, or this last month at this last show, when we talk about that, if you haven't seen that yet, but up until just a few short weeks ago, I felt like I was starting to become the hunter. But now it's kind of starting to shift the tide again.
At that last show, Nowhere to Run, I think they're calling themselves the Seventh Seal.
I think that's what I heard.
Darian Jekyll is a monster to begin with. Like, by himself, individually, that kid is good. And you and him were having one hell of a match.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, I say it a lot, but this guy, he was a complete unknown. I did know I was facing him a couple days beforehand, but I had no idea what he did in the ring, what he did out of the ring, what he does under the ring. I have no idea what this guy does, because I think he's appeared from out under the ring before as well, at one of the shows. So I was just, I felt like I was completely off my guard on this one, maybe a little off step, but as you can see, as you go back and watch, I am still your champion. I was able to pull it out. Go back and watch. This man was not on the ground all but maybe a collective 30 seconds, like total. Even after the match, after I hit Darian Jekyll with my finish, he was able to rise up after Katie Lynn did her little voodoo magic spell with her fingers.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but let's talk about that after the match. So after the match, you got the big victory. You're still the champ, and then the ring gets surrounded.
Man, I'll tell you what, after me and Darian Jekyll tore the house down and I retained, Seven Seals music, not my music hit, Seven Seals music hit, I was dumbfounded, because every celebration I've had after the match, after my defenses, has gone swimmingly so far. So to my surprise, I turn around, and who do I see? I see Simon Balasong, or is he just going by Simon now?
Yeah, I think that
or just Balasong.
Simon just took over, so Balasong is the non-monster, Simon is the monster.
Okay, so Simon's at the forefront, so I'm dealing with a monster. I'm dealing with Michael Maverick, the newly arrived superstar who's been on a little bit of a tear. He's shown off some impressive feats. Darian Jekyll, the man I just went, 14, 15 minutes with and almost lost to a couple times. And then Katie Lynn, they come out, surround the ring. Darian Jekyll rises up from whatever deep hell he was swimming in. And I feel like I got, this is going to be it. This might be the last time, I see the HCW crowd for a while. But luckily, with the connections I have, I got friends. And my friend just so happens to be the biggest and the baddest. So what happens? Boom. Big bad Blade. The Midwest monster himself comes out. Now, mind you, I wasn't sure what he was doing out there to begin with either. Did either of you guys know?
No clue. Showed up out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was in the building.
I got PTSD because I heard the music, and the last time I heard it, I heard like a cougar scream, "That's my man," and it got all weird. Yeah, I was like, man.
Well, I was still on my toes. Blade gets in that ring, and you see me on video. I'm still dukes up, and he looks at me and he nods his head. he doesn't. He's a man of few words, but when he speaks, I know, or when he speaks, you listen. So I knew exactly what he needed in that moment. We turned and we were ready to face the 7th seal together as a team, and they didn't want the smoke. They were ready to go and attack me 4-on-1, but when we even odds a little bit, they don't really want it. They didn't really want it.
Oh, man.
So what they do, they retreated back to the little shadow realm like they do. I'm going to keep saying it, okay? They retreated back to their shadows, got to regroup, and I'll let you guys take it from here. What we got going on this coming, well, I guess this is airing after Saturday, so it will
after Saturday, but the Saturday beforehand, before this comes out, you team with Blade versus Michael Maverick and Darren Jekyll, and hopefully not KT Lynn and Simon also. So
I'll say this about KT Lynn and Simon Ballasong. If they want to go out with their team and watch him at the side of the ring, they're more than welcome. I don't believe in supernatural funks. I don't believe in voodoo. So you guys do whatever you will. You guys can watch your boys get beat by me and my boy.
And this is not for the title either. So like your undefeated streak is what's on the line here.
In my undefeated
to not get pinned
is on the line. I will be in the match plenty. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave it all to Blade, big and bad Blade, just because everybody knows he can beat them both by himself. But unfortunately, I will have to suspend my Independence Championship Open Challenge for the moment, but I will be getting that back going as soon as we get the 7th seal dealt with.
Hey, you said something earlier about you felt like you had a target on your back. Like, do you really think that might be because you won the title, or is it like the love that you have in Wichita? Because the target's been on your back since you were the guest ring announcer with Handgun Dan. Yeah. And that's where the attacks started coming in.
That might have been just a little, single person jealousy kind of thing going on right there. Like he was mad that, I was looking so good and he had to cheat to win his match. But I think the target, I would say for anybody that thinks I have a target on my back because I'm so loved in Wichita, man, I had to work for it. It's not like it just became a thing. People had to learn who I was, had to fight with me, had to cry with me, bleed with me, lose my hair with me. So it's not like I've come in here and just like begged and everything and asked for everybody to, feel sympathy and give me handouts and cheer for me. But I think when you are able to get the crowd behind you in a way and able to win in certain ways and find different ways to win, I think people start to kind of look at you a little bit more, target you a little bit more. I think, as they say, more money, more problems. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that the love really showed probably right after that strap match happened. Like that's where I think you really hooked Wichita. But we can't deny that they fell for you after losing that hair of yours. It was pretty. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Yeah, it was long. I still get people that tell me to this day they still picture me with long hair sometimes, or it's hard to picture me with long hair now. So maybe one day I'll grow back out, but I got a wedding to think about, and you can't just grow out a big long mullet before your wedding.
Oh man,
unless you're the ex-champ Aaron Helms.
That's true.
Big
that's
old
true.
mullet.
So what is it about maybe say, and I'm only asking this because I'm curious, because at one time I said Handgun Dan was the most hated man in Wichita, and after what happened with ACFC the very first time, I kind of put my foot in my mouth after realizing that Wichita loves ACFC way more than they do anybody else, like with Handgun Dan and like Dickie Richards involved. The hatred towards Dick is unmeasurable at that point when he interferes with any of the matches. But when Dan's in the ring, like the family of Jose Gerardo, like they hate him probably more than I guess Wichita probably hates Dickie. What do you think it is about you that like he was going after, and also Jose, because you guys both, like, Wichita loves both of you guys.
With myself, at first when he first started targeting me, I think it might have been kind of a more personal attack towards me, just to start, and then it turned into like a general, philosophy of just differing philosophies of wrestling. And then I think with Jose, it was kind of opposite. It started, excuse you, sorry. My dog wanted to make an appearance.
Bonnie Bell wants to make an appearance there.
Wants to make an appearance. Sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. But I think with, like I said, with me, it started off a little personal and turned more good versus evil kind of generalization. And with Jose and him, it might have been more of a general to start, and then ended more personal. So what I mean by that is Dan attacked me directly, attacked me with that strap. And it was because I beat him because, for whatever reason, he was mad at me that day, that he attacked me. And then as we got along, he was more attacking what I do, the people in the crowd that were cheering me. And then with Jose, it was Jose kind of started catching strays, and then kind of turned into him more attacking Jose directly and going after his family, and just getting super personal with Jose, making it all super personal with his family. So kind of similarities, differences. Maybe that's why Dan did what he did, or why we have targets on our back. I think the angry people just get mad at other people when they're doing well and having a good time, man. Male Karens,
It makes more sense. I guess we can call them Dickies.
Dickies, that's not bad.
Not kidding.
That's not bad.
Oh my!
Hey, Mark, Dickies. I'm a Dickie.
I'm a Dickie.
I'm a Dickie.
Oh gosh, that's rough.
What else you want to cover? Other matches and shows coming up other than...
We've got a lot stuff going there. It's hard to cover a lot of different matches. Actually, this will air the same week that we are going into Leavenworth for the Wreck the Halls. And that's a free show for all the fans.
Did we want to talk about Red Kettle Rumble being 100% profits?
So, that's a great thing. So 100% of ticket sales will go to the Salvation Army for the Red Kettle Rumble. Now, I know this airs after that, but, December we've kind of did a thing where the wrestlers have been donating their time and athletic ability so we can give back. And in Wichita, we're giving to the Red Kettle Drive and the Salvation Army. And then in Leavenworth, we're doing an absolute free show for the fans. So let's pack that house. Let's have a good time. And we will crown our first ever First City champion, which are you going to put yourself in that tournament, champ?
I mean, if I'm allowed to, I'm going to try my best to be your champ right here, bro.
Gotcha, champ.
That title is very pretty, by the way. It looks like a whole classic NWA title. I really like it.
We've got a lot of cool designs in our belts. That's a big shout out to my little brother Daniel. He bust his tail on our designs and stuff, and can be a jerk about some of the design stuff. He's like, nope, this is how it's gonna be, whether you like it or not. But he's made some very, very pretty belts. And Aaron Helms was kind of upset that most of our belts aren't traditional looking. And so we kind of surprised him on this Leavenworth belt, and it's a little more traditional looking, but it's still very pretty.
Agreed.
So let's segue into just a little bit about all your stuff that you do besides just wrestle for HCW. So, you haven't been in the business as long as some, but you've been in it a while, and I trust you enough that at the Bears Den, you are my second in command. When I'm not there, you help train all the kids and stuff like that. So, and you've had some background in training with gymnastics and cheerleading and stuff like that. So and amateur wrestling. So, you had a little bit of experience. But tell me about like some of these kids that you've helped have your hands in. Like, I know anytime I see people that I've trained or helped train and stuff doing things, it gives me a very good feeling. Do you get that same feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Especially, when you get to get in there and, or they ask you directly to watch their match or what you thought of their match. And that, they're really only asking you and one other person or two other people, maybe, what they thought of your match, and be that person that they come to for advice, or feel comfortable enough to want to try something. It feels fantastic. There's almost nothing better than watching it click with somebody or watching somebody realize that they love doing something or can take it or can get through what they're trying to get through. It's awesome, man. I used to, like you said, right there at the beginning, I used to coach gymnastics. I used to coach cheer, and that was rewarding in itself. But this is a whole different kind of reward. This is watching people, chase a dream or do something that they've been trying to do since they were a little kid. So rewarding. So gets my little, what do you call it? Serotonin levels for the week half the time, but it's also work, man. It's also work.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it too.
So at shows, you kind of lead, set up, tear down. Like, you're the man there. Like, a lot of people respect and listen to me. And you're starting to get kind of that same respect. When you speak, people are listening, people are doing what you say. And that's a lot of responsibility. Do you feel like you like enjoy that little bit of a responsibility, or sometimes are you like, man, I'd like to just be able to relax for once?
There have been moments where I thought that, but they say heavy is the head, and if you want to be a leader, you got to do leader things. And if I want this company to run the way that we want it to run, then I'm going to get in there and do the nitty gritty. And if I just so happen to be the one yelling at everybody to get it in the way that we know to get it in, I've been blessed enough throughout the business, throughout the last few years to be able to learn and watch people do it before I was, given this responsibility or took this responsibility. Shout out to Creel. Shout out to Shane Sanders for teaching me how to set up and tear down a ring correctly, and how to, get it done, get it on the trailer and get out of there. I feel like ever since we started this company, it was somewhat of my responsibility to have you worry about one less thing. And if that one less thing can be the entire setup, tear down, and loading and unloading of the ring, then that just means you can focus on so much more other things. So many more other things.
I appreciate that. Very, very much so. I appreciate everything you do for us. So I hope you know that.
Thank you. You are welcome, or thank you, whatever.
However you're supposed to answer that.
I don't do well with praise.
So what you got, Bobby? Yeah, you never have. You like to be criticized. What did I do wrong? How can I get better? You and Ray are the same damn mind.
You just
I
make a good job. I just need a good job. Yeah, you good job.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of Ray, we sort of asked him, like, when he went from heel to face, like, did he feel any extra responsibility with the crowd or even the wrestlers that are looking up to him and stuff like that? Like, you've been a face since the get go, at least since I've been at HCW. Like, did you always feel that responsibility with the fans also of Wichita, like making HCW what it is?
No, honestly, I came in kind of young and not just Wichita, but coming into Salina, kind of thinking, oh, they'll get it and they'll cheer for me just because I'm supposed to be the good guy. You know what I mean? And that's not how it works. That's not how people work. People don't just cheer or boo somebody just because you come out and say they suck, or because you say their town sucks or something. I think coming into Wichita, I thought it was going to be maybe I had done enough in Salina beforehand to get there, but it wasn't the case. It's a lot of work. I got in there, and it took a while. I thought my first match went really well, and it's just something that comes with that responsibility of getting the crowd behind you. Just comes with experience and learning how to not just wrestle your match, but also interact with the crowd. Because there's a lot when you're in there in the ring, a lot that people don't think about, a lot that trainees in the Bears Den are still learning.
Very much,
showing your face, making noise, making a connection. That's all huge responsibilities for that face working. So it is a huge responsibility, but once you learn how to do it, and once you do it well, you just have to start tweaking on it and, changing it slightly every once in a while, just so you don't get stale. Because the quickest way to get booed is just to do the same exact thing and be the same exact person for, it might work for 6 months, it might work for a year, but eventually they're going to get bored and you're going to stop. You're not going to get booed. You're going to stop getting reaction.
Well, we had Drake on episode 1, and he gave Ray the props for his crowd work and stuff like that. Is there any wrestler at HCW or even somebody you've worked with independent that you kind of want to shout out something that they've done that they may not get gratified for maybe whether it be setting up a ring or anything like that?
Yeah. So the Colorado boys, all the Colorado boys that come down for HCW, I'll give a quick shout out, especially I'm going to kick myself in the ass for not remembering his name right now. I'm on the spot. I just defended my title against him not too long ago. Oh God.
Damon Ace.
Damon Ace. Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry, Damon, if you're watching this, if you watch this back. Damon, every time he's been at HCW, the 2 times I believe he's been at HCW, he's been there to help set up, he's been there to tear down, and not only that, he's been in the ring kind of helping with advice with people. And he just with that second appearance, helped me fix my strikes. And compared to even just 2-3 months ago, my strikes look so much better. So quick shout out to him. Quick shout out to all the boys that always make the dates regardless of where they're from: Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas. I think we got some from Missouri, and then of course Johnny Faith always coming from Florida. So everybody, I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, but shout out to all the independent workers who actually work.
Well, I just haven't asked that yet, but I haven't also asked this, and I don't know if you're comfortable with it. Is there any matches that you're excited to maybe see in the future that either Billy sets or maybe might happen in the future at HCW as this new year comes up?
I'm not going to give anything away. I think he's got some stuff in the pipes, and even then he's still he's things back. But I think we've got a great show. Legacy is just a few short months away if you really think about it. In April. So we're probably going to start having some buildups to that leading up. I'm excited to see what's happening with Ray. I know he just won the title. I'm excited to see what he's going to do afterwards. If he's going to finish his little story with, Dickie that he never really got to end, or if he's going to move on and see who the next challenger is. Of course, we've got the 7th Seal and myself. Something tells me that it's going to take a little bit longer than one match. They seem pretty resilient to me, like they're going to slink in the shadows and return. But then I would say at this next show coming up, we got some young folks, some younger talent in the matches. I believe we have Gavin Bush versus, who do you have him going against, Billy?
Dutch. So after Out of Luck, when Gavin, to a lot of people's opinion, stole that win, Dutch McClain gets a shot back at Gavin Bush.
Okay, so it'll be Dutch and Gavin again. That would be another good back and forth. Yeah, and then I just watched Kane Carter's promo. See if he comes back for after I'm done with Seven Seals. See if he wants to come back for another shot at my belt, or maybe he goes on to bigger, better things and challenges Ray Leon. So I think we've got a lot of great things in the pipe. I think Billy has a lot of great, not just a lot of great ideas, but a lot of great roads he can go down and really showcase what we can do here going into the second. Yeah, going well into our second
going
year.
into year two.
Yeah. So here's you a question, and this is not trying to stir any controversy, but you're undefeated in HCW, but you're the Independence Champion.
Correct.
When do you go after that main belt?
Oh, he said, not stirring the pot, and then just puts the lid on and shakes it up.
I wasn't going to do it. I was like, I don't think he's...
I'm putting the lid on and shaking it up. But no, it's a fair question. When at one point do you prove that you've done everything you can at that level and move on and try to get the main thing, the main belt? How long do I sit here?
The Heartland Championship, let's just label that.
So I've had, it's not the first time that question's come up. I just feel as if the championships are two different things. So
right.
On my level, on the HCW Independence Champion, is the workhorse title. Of course, I'm challenged for it almost every week, every month. That thing's been defended it's probably the most defended title in HCW. And, it's a different kind of, it's a different feel. The HCW Championship is a little more, what would you call it? I would say more exclusive. Would that be a good word? I'm not sure. Just more prestigious. The level, it's like the difference of watching in WWE, the Intercontinental matches. They're great matches. They're bangers. And then the cinematics of like the heavyweight title scenes. You get your nice little short stories with your mid-card belts, but it's mostly about the matches. I think with the main titles, it's not only about the matches, but it's about the story as well. So when will I challenge for that belt? A, when Ray is good and healthy. And B, when somebody, I think, comes along and is man enough to challenge and take my belt.
Nice. Cool. Good answer.
Well, my next question to add to that, to kind of, not to stir the pot. You're Billy's first male-female match that he's had, which was at Leavenworth. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
You and Stormy? What is that like? Like, do you have any fear whatsoever of hurting anybody, whether they're bigger or stronger than you? Like, I know Stormy, she can handle her own. Let's be real here. Like you said, she's a handful. But what is that? What for you? What does that mean to be his first intergender? Is that the right wordage? Yeah. Like, what does that feel like? And also, like, what would you call out looking forward for people that are wanting to do that?
I didn't know that was the case until like just a few weeks back when he was on the podcast and he had said that, I believe on Jordan and Jordan's podcast. I think he said that. But yeah, after I figured that, after I heard that was really special to me. And not only me, but Stormy told me herself that she was extremely proud of that match as well. And hopefully that can open up doors and avenues for people to be more open to it and in like the Midwest, and just kind of get a little more used to the fact that women and men can work together, and that some of the women really can keep up better than the men. yeah, that I thought that match was great. I was super honored to be the first intergender match that Billy's had, technically, and I think anybody else that's looking to get into it doesn't have anything to worry about. This is wrestling. You know, Billy luckily trained us well enough to know that we're not men and women, we're wrestlers. And if you want stuff to look good, you're not going to sit here and baby the woman. You got to make it look even harder sometimes. Because, you know, you're a guy going against the ladies and you got to tell that story. Most of the time, for anybody that's either doing a size gap or an age, gender gap kind of match, you're going to tell that story. And the person that's taking those moves, maybe you have to hit them a little harder, or you have to just throw it like you would throw at your bro. They're going to be open to it. I haven't met a smaller person. I haven't really wrestled that many smaller people. I'm not a huge guy myself. But most of the time as smaller people, they're open. They're open to taking those moves and making that stuff look really good. And then that'll just make them look that much better when they come back and either beat you or make the people believe that they're about to beat you, and just really sell that like you would male versus male.
I was just curious if like anything like that ever went through your mind. I mean, obviously you just found out, but like, did anything like that ever go through your mind in the past? Like seeing that, like, were you always like, I guess, excited about maybe seeing that in the future, or has that ever even crossed your mind before now? Like, because it's a big deal now. Like, let's be honest, like it's really got the spotlight on it.
Yeah. I mean, with our business, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. If you can work, you can work. I believe for years and years now on the independent scene, they've done intergender matches. It's not something I'm not worried about. Like if you're asking, I'm not worried about like any backlash or anything like that. Because
no, I'm saying, did anything make you excited about it? Like seeing a male versus female, like Billy said a while ago, I didn't even realize this, that even WWE, they've never had a male versus female role like match, I guess.
Yeah. I got you. It makes me really excited for the women here in the Midwest because, you know, on the East and West Coast, there's plenty of women to work with and they're in plenty of companies, but here in the Midwest, they seem to be kind of few and far in between, or booked up with a different company, on the day that you're running your show. So I think the more opportunities we open up, for intergender matches here in the Midwest, the more opportunities it will open up for women in general, to have great matches and men to have great matches with those women. Because a match isn't just one sided. Match is two sided unless you're wrestling a broom. So I'm excited for the state of wrestling because if we can just mix it all together. Now there's times where I think it doesn't belong, like probably the world title scene, unless like you got the special cases. Because at that point, if you have your woman win the world title and then she loses it, why would she ever then compete in the women's division again? I think it dilutes the men's side a little bit, if that happens, but that's not to say men and women cannot wrestle. I don't want anybody flipping this at all.
Right.
And
Like,
we were clear about that at the beginning, but they can't clip it.
Yeah.
Technology.
Dang technology.
So yes, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the entirety of the Midwest wrestling scene. If we can really get that kind of, you know, more in the spotlight.
All right. Well, hey, you guys were just on. Is it Good Day Kansas? Is that right? I didn't get to watch it yet.
Good
Yeah,
morning,
so it
Kansas.
comes out. Actually, we're recording Thursday. It comes out in the morning, and it's KSN Channel 3. Good Morning Kansas.
Thursday morning.
Friday morning.
Oh, so tomorrow.
So tomorrow
Okay.
morning, and we're excited about it. You know, I reached out. We're doing the big, you know, helping the Salvation Army as best we can, and I reached out to my contact, and fortunately, he was able to jump us right in. And you know, I made the phone call to my two champs. Like, who better to bring in to be on TV to promote our company than my two main champions? And so they were all for it. They jumped right on it. And then I made a phone call to the Salvation Army, and they came out with us. And, you know, we're just trying to help support a company that helped me when I was struggling.
Well, the Salvation Army, is that the lady that was in the photos? Is that her? She looks like she was having a blast holding them belts.
Yeah, she enjoyed it. She always does. You know, since they contacted me about doing the show, they don't miss a lot of shows. Her kids love it. She told us at Good Day, Kansas that you know, her kids for Christmas all they want is a wrestling ring and wrestling figures. So, like, that makes me feel really good.
Well, that's your goal, is to help have, like you said in the several episodes, your goal is to have find out what you like about wrestling.
Yeah. Come give us an opportunity to make us have you enjoy wrestling again. Bob Evans told me a long time ago, leave wrestling better than you found it. And I work every day to try to make that a reality. That's one way of putting it.
Goodness.
But I guess really what we can do is kind of recap what's happened in the past, and then we'll close it out. Like, cool. Billy brought that you were up watching Ray Leon, his last match right before he won the title with his injury. What was kind of going through your mind, like, when you saw him actually trying to fight an injury and also become the HCW Heartland champion?
Man, so many thoughts that day. Such a crazy day. First off, okay, start off the day to defending my title, okay, and successfully, and then having to deal with the 7 seal, and then the return of Blade. Whole host of emotions right there. Next, my own fiance wins the Sunflower Championship, HCW Sunflower Championship. Crazy high right there, okay? Then I'm watching my best friend go out there to challenge for the main title in this steel structure, in this freaking 18-foot high steel cage. And, you know, so excited. As soon as I see him climb that cage, I'm like, all right, buddy, get down normal like a ladder. And as soon as I see him start to kind of scooch down weirdly, I'm like, please turn around and just get down normal. And he realizes about halfway down, he's like, I got to turn around. Turns around, goes to put his foot on that top rope, thinks it's there. I knew he was going to stand on the top rope and do his little. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no. And I saw him fall, saw his leg fold up behind him, start to kind of flop around the fish. And Billy can attest to you, I was extremely worried back there, man. I was squirming. I teared up a little bit. I thought for sure he was gonna maybe, you know, have to roll out, figure out something else. But, you know, speaking from my own experience of having my own serious knee injury in the ring, and kind of having a couple minutes to sit and think and relax, I knew in his head he was going to try to go. So no matter how bad it was, he was going to go. So Billy, you know, of course, tried to send somebody out there to go check on him, and he told him to go, you know, go kick rocks. So he went, and as the match was going, we were kind of trying to tell if, like, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. And I was like, I just don't know, man. I don't think he'd be flopping around like that at the start. And, you know, we were quickly able to realize it was real when he went to go throw that kick. And, you know, there's no way that could catch him. Whole host of emotions, sadness, you know, at first. And then as he started to come back, you know, the hope really started getting in there. Huge bump off the top of the cage. Kind of brought it back down. But at the end of the day, he is still the illustrious one, and he was able to pull it off. You know, when he did, I was extremely proud. Not just for him, but for all of us on the journey that we've kind of been through together. And then, of course, you know, him being super dramatic what he is, and he had to call me and Billy into the ring to, you know, share the spotlight. I felt like it was his moment to have, but he asked me to come up in there, and, you know, I wasn't going to deny him. So I was able to. I was very happy to be able to share that moment with my best friend, and my fiance that night, and quickly, like a couple days later, released because we realized I think we know the champ is going to be okay.
Yeah, for sure. So, we were sitting back watching that a match, and I talked about it when we did the interview with Ray. Me and you were sitting watching that screen, and it was hard to pay attention to the match itself.
Yeah.
Because we were watching Ray's movement to see how bad he was hurt. Mm-hmm. And you even at one point said, it's hard to watch this match right now.
Yeah.
Because you knew what he was going through. First, early in your career, you took a major injury and had to take some time away. So knowing how that felt and watching your friend go through it, we were sitting back there, and it was just a hard match to pay attention to all the good that was in that match because we were watching every move he made.
Yeah, we were just at that point we weren't really, wrestlers. We were just, Ray's friend, and we wanted to make sure that he's going to be okay, and that's something that sometimes happens in this business, and we can't ever forget that we're people and that we've got families and livelihoods and our health to look after. So that always comes first. So whenever that happens to one of your friends, you just immediately get super worried and don't want anything else to happen to them.
Thanks.
So at the end of the last episode, I mean, Billy's a little rough around the edges when it comes to memory, and he hasn't had a chance to sit down and watch every single show or match. But Ray, he sort of gave out, I guess, some key things that happened. He gave a match of the year. I believe he gave it to the women's ladder match for HCW being open for a year. Then for move of the year, how about that moonsault?
Yeah,
off the top of the cage.
Yeah,
that was pretty sick.
What would you say the match of the? Oh yeah, sorry.
Match of the year. Man,
you've had a chance to actually sit down and watch them. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
you've taken the time to.
I know. I feel like if I say one, I'm going to make somebody mad too.
Yeah. You always ask these questions.
I know.
It's fun.
Golly.
Hey, you asked him about the not trying to stir the pot.
I think there's going to be one I'm forgetting probably.
That match between Ray and those two guys, that could be on that forefront for match of the year. It was an amazing match to watch.
And Ray knows what I'm saying. If he wouldn't have got hurt, it would have been, maybe. I think match of the year, if not the women's ladder match, I think could go to Ray and Blade. Maybe that was an awesome match for the 50% of the company at that time. That was sweet. I would say that one probably Blade versus Ray. And then what was the other question?
Move of the year.
Yeah, move of the year was Ray said the moonsault for
the moonsault. That's pretty. Yeah, that was sick.
I got a good second.
Yeah. What would be your second?
Bloodbath Blockbuster.
Oh, we got to do that again. We got to try that again. I think we have some grainy footage. We might have grainy footage of that somewhere, but
probably grainy ass, not good footage of it.
Me and Blade will have to try that again sometime. Maybe this coming weekend against the Seventh Seal. But move of the year. We have. Who went? Did somebody go through double tables? No.
Yeah, in that tag team with Ray and Drake, he went through two tables.
Oh, that looked painful. I don't know.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah, I would say probably the moonsault off the top of the cage.
Okay. The other one that I was actually looking back at the highlights, I went back and watched it, was the flag match. It was a really good match.
It was unique. It was really good in the uniqueness. Listen, Kane Carter is a top-notch talent. And I think he could be top-notch talent anywhere he goes. It's why I continue to bring him into HCW because he is good. And, you know, Kane's a good worker. And that match was unique and told a good story. But I don't know if there's going to be much to top that cage match.
Hey man, I had a killer match with Kane myself that I don't think I have the footage to either. I had to finish that match, I had that superplex into my probability driver. I would say that if we had footage of it.
That was a really good one. Do we not have footage of that?
I don't think we have footage of that show. That was my first title defense. Yeah. And then if we were saying spot,
who is it against?
Kane.
Yeah, Kane.
Oh, he's Kane.
And then if I would throw in my own hat for one of my spots, I would say my strat match, the hangman spot I had with the leather strap.
Oh, good Lord. That was just vicious.
I would say that that got the boys in the back as well, so that was a really good spot.
Yeah, that's facts. That is facts. I give you that.
And I think Ray actually gave one out to both Ray and Stormy before we even really started doing me asking these questions. Was Gavin Bush was like almost like improved wrestler, almost like watching him kind of evolve into like what he's like trying to build, which is the gorgeous Gavin Bush.
I would say since their debut, I would say probably Hector. I would give him his flowers and say Hector De Oro or Pargar. I would say either one of those two is most improved.
Hector is a very, very good choice.
Yeah, you see Hector from where he started to where he is now, not just being part of it, a part of the Goonies or part of the being their security, but being one of the front members of the Empire, of the new Empire.
Right.
So and the quality of his matches, it just keeps getting better, and he just keeps getting better as a young man.
Well, hey, man, is there anything you want to shout out, like might be coming up with you? I don't know if you wrestle outside of HCW very much, but is there anything you kind of want to like shout out, like what's coming up?
Shout out to Southwest Kansas Independent Lucha Libre, of course, having their show the day after Billy in Garden City. I believe at the Expo Hall there. Check out their Facebook and all that for notifications, see where shows are. I'll be at HCW in Wichita this coming Saturday I know this will air afterwards, but I'll be at, of course, Red Capital Rumble here in Wichita, and then catch me in Leavenworth at what's the name of the pay-per-view building?
Leavenworth Local.
Wreck the Halls
in Leavenworth at the Leavenworth Local Hotel. And then I believe we are off the rest of the holiday season to celebrate with our friends and family. And then we're going to be hitting it hard again in January.
For sure.
And when does Road to Legacy begin?
Road to Legacy is January 22nd, I believe. Let me look real quick.
Dana will be shaking his head.
25th. January 25th is New Year's Mayhem. So Road to Legacy would be February 22nd.
Okay. So that's going to be the big things coming up with HCW outside of like after this airs, of course, besides Leavenworth. Leavenworth's that free show. So they're trying to pack that house, get Leavenworth's involvement up even more than what it is already. So, but Chance, we appreciate you coming on here. And if there's anything else you're wanting to highlight other than that, like have you guys got a date for the wedding?
We do. Mindy Grace and I will be getting married September 13th of 2025 in front of all of our friends and family, hopefully. And then the week after that, I believe we will be kicking ass in HCW.
For sure.
But you can follow me on all my socials, Facebook at Chance Carigan. And again, that is Carigan, Carigan, not cardigan, not cardigan.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's Carigan. Okay, Chance Carigan. You can follow me on Instagram at the same name, Chance Carigan. Follow me on YouTube at Chance Jayhawk Hain, or follow HCW Heartland Championship Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, or HCW Live on YouTube.
And they will be live on Facebook, and you try to be live on YouTube. Is that right?
We're going to try to go live on YouTube again. We had some issues last time, but listen, that Facebook crowd watched well. We had good numbers on that, and we'll continue to try to do that.
Well, Billy's going to let you know something. You just been
bumped?
You just been chopped.
Why you mess me up, Bobby? You just been chopped by bumping chops. Appreciate you, champ.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Later, buddy.
Later,
guys.